This is Modern Service Mastery, Business School with Boots on. Real lessons, real talk, and real growth for the residential service industry. Let's get to work.
Recognition, folks, isn't just about making people feel good. It's actually one of the most strategic tools in leadership, driving performance, retention, and, well, engagement. Did you know nearly 86% of employees feel appreciated when their company has recognition programs? That's a big number, and it proves this isn't just fluff.
It's true. People need it. You bust your tail all week, right? And just hearing, hey, great job out there, can totally change the vibe for an entire team.
Exactly. And what's more powerful is tailoring recognition to the individual. Some folks like the public acknowledgement, maybe at a team meeting. Others, they'd prefer a quiet thank you or maybe even a handwritten note. It's all about being thoughtful.
Oh, handwritten notes? Fancy.
Hey now, it works, my friend. I've seen it firsthand. Years ago, I worked with a technician who was kind of under the radar, super steady, great work ethic, but not the loudest guy. One day, I made it a point to highlight his precision on a big project in front of the whole team. I could tell that acknowledgement, it just lit him up. He told me months later that moment actually pushed him to keep growing. Simple recognition, big change.
Man, that reminds me of this time with my crew. It was the middle of summer, hot, everyone was dragging. So we started this thing, crew shout-outs after every big install, nothing official, just pointing out who crushed it that day. One day I called out my youngest guy who had to fix a botched mow job from the neighbor's crew. I mean, it wasn't glamorous work, but he absolutely nailed it. You could see the guy's chest puff a little bigger every time after that.
That's what I'm talking about, Jake. Recognition builds momentum, morale, and dare I say loyalty. And it doesn't have to cost a dime. Peer shout-outs? Brilliant. Research shows they improve workplace performance by 14%. When people feel seen by their peers, it creates a sense of community, a shared responsibility.
Right? And looking back, it wasn't just that one guy who stepped up. It was like a domino effect. Everyone started helping each other out more, like they didn't want to miss their moment to shine.
That's the beauty of it. Recognition is oxygen. It fuels resilience and engagement, not just for the individuals, but for the entire team. You know, Jake, as we talk about the power of recognition and how it boosts engagement and morale, it's hard not to think about what underpins all of that, psychological safety. Without that sense of security, that people can speak up, share ideas, or even make a mistake without fear of being torn down, even the best recognition efforts can fall flat. It's this foundation that allows teams to truly thrive and build real momentum.
Yeah, totally. Like, I think back to some crews I ran when people felt like they couldn't say something if, something was going sideways. Man, stuff just fell apart. But once we kind of opened it up and said, guys, it's okay to call things out, it was like we flipped a switch. Suddenly, problems were getting fixed before we even had to step in.
Right. And that's where urgency without chaos comes into play. You've got to maintain a productive pace, but if the team's stressed out or afraid to raise their hand, all you've got is managed chaos. Psychological safety lets you create, urgency with clarity. Everything moves forward, but it's intentional, not rushed.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's why I started doing morning huddles with my team. Just quick, right? 15 minutes tops. We'd lay out the day, goals, who's tackling what, any weird customer stuff we might run into, and we'd always end with a quick win from the day before. Kept everyone plugged in and ready to roll.
That's gold, Jake. Everyone's on the same page before the work even begins. And look, that quick win thing, that's one of the simplest leadership rituals out there, and it makes such a big difference. People want to feel like their efforts are seen. It's what drives momentum. When someone knows their work is noticed, they keep bringing their A game.
Totally. And I'll say this, sometimes it's the little stuff that gets overlooked, like reorganizing the trailer to save us time. But when we noticed that and made sure to shout it out, man, the guy who did it started showing up with new ideas practically every day. It's like when you spotlight the effort, people realize they matter.
That's the momentum multiplier right there. Recognize the small wins and you encourage more wins. And momentum, as you've seen, doesn't just keep the wheels turning. It makes the journey better for everyone involved. You've created a space where collaboration thrives, Jake, and that's where teams become more than the sum of their parts.
For sure. And sometimes celebrating those little milestones, it's not just about boosting morale, it's about keeping the energy up over the long haul. People see the progress, and it sort of reminds them why they're grinding so hard in the first place.
And that's the key, sustaining that energy over time. Leadership rituals like celebrating milestones foster that kind of consistency. They create a rhythm that keeps the team moving with intention together. You know, Jake, thinking about how those leadership rituals sustain energy over time, it ties directly to aligning vision with action. Can we take that same intentionality, the quick wins, the clear goals, and let it guide how we weave those grand, inspiring objectives into the everyday decisions our teams are making?
Totally. I mean, it's one thing to put vision statements on a wall, but if it's not showing up on the job site, is it even real? My crew always jokes about how I'm big on the details. But how you handle small stuff actually shows people what the vision means in practice.
Exactly. The small stuff plants the seeds for the big picture. And you can't delegate culture, Jake. I've seen it time and again. It's the leaders who show, not just tell, what matters. If the vision isn't reinforced at every level, it becomes just noise.
Man, that hits home. Like, I had this one time. Okay, so we were finishing up a big backyard renovation, right? And there was this loose paver by the gate. Honestly, no one thought twice about it. It was a good enough kind of situation. But I grabbed one of my guys and said, let's reset it real quick. Took maybe 5 minutes. The client caught it and mentioned how we made the whole yard feel solid and complete. Little things, but it's like 5-star service is in the finishing touches.
Couldn't agree more. That story embodies alignment. You saw the vision, delivering quality, and carried it through on what? A single paver. That's leadership in action. And it validates the culture you're building on your team every day. One that doesn't settle, even on the smallest details.
Well, thanks, but I gotta say, it's not always glamorous. Like, connecting strategy to action is messy. But I guess that's how you make it real, right? By showing your team those one more step moments that bring the bigger picture to life.
That's spot on. It's in those messy everyday actions where culture gets shaped. And leaders who proactively bridge operational practices, things like resetting that paver with strategic objectives, are the ones who build organizations that thrive. They're not just managing, they're creating something lasting.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not just about the results. It's about showing your team they're part of something bigger. That no matter their role, they're all driving toward a shared mission. That, to me, is when work gets, meaningful.
And that's why vision and strategy combined are so powerful. When leaders weave these into their teams, bridging the lofty goals with their practical day-to-day execution, it isn't just work, it's culture, it's impact.
For sure, Mike. And that's a wrap on the general management pillar, right? I gotta say, this has been awesome. So many takeaways here for leaders at all levels.
Absolutely, Jake. And to everyone who's been with us through this journey, thank you. You've explored what it means to lead with vision, strategy, and grit, and I hope these ideas help you drive your teams and yourself to thrive.
Oh, and don't forget, engage. Be a voice and a leader in our community, share your favorite insights, and check out those action items. This stuff only works if you put it into motion,
Well said, Jake. And with that, here's to building remarkable teams and lasting cultures. On that note, we'll see you in the next pillar.
Thanks for listening to Modern Service Mastery Business School with Boots On. If this episode helped you lead, grow, or think differently, share it with your crew and keep the momentum going.